As the great Steve Shondell would say, welcome to the volleyball capital of the world in Muncie, Indiana, inside John E. Worthen Arena. As tonight, the Ball State Cardinals, ranked 15th in the country, take on the number 9 Lewis Flyers for a big-time MIVA conference matchup. Hello, everybody. I'm Luke Martin alongside my partner in crime, Zach Hughes, this evening. And, Zach, like I mentioned, tonight is a big matchup in the MIVA Conference, and it comes at the most important time of the year, the closing stretch.
Luke, we should have a great match here in Worthen Arena tonight. The Cardinals come in winners of 10 straight, Lewis winners of 18 of their last 20. We should have a dandy on our hands here in Worthen.
And you mentioned the Cardinals are on a hot streak with winners of their 10 straight matches. So let's take a look at this Cardinal season so far. It has been a season of runs for Ball State to this point.
It certainly has. They started off the season 8-0, the last remaining unbeaten team in NCAA men's volleyball. Then they lost 5 straight, and now, as we mentioned, winners of 10 straight coming into this match. They've only lost 2 sets in this 10-game win streak, including beating 2 ranked opponents. They swept number 8 Ohio State in Worthen and got a 3-1 win over number 10 Penn State.
And now one of the reasons why Ball State has been able to have so much success in the past 10 matches, Zach, is your player to watch for the Ball State Cardinals, and that's none other than Jamion Hartley.
Jamion Hartley, since his return to the starting lineup, given Ball State the 10-match win streak. He's a 2-time MIVA Offensive Player of the Week since he returned. He leads the team with 3.63 kills per set. Oh, yeah, and the last time Ball State beat Lewis 2 years ago here in Worthen in 2011, he had 30 kills, which is second most in a match in Ball State history.
Yeah, that is a lot of kills to have for sure. And Jamion Hartley having an outstanding senior season. Well, also having an outstanding season is Jay Petty for the Lewis Flyers, Zach.
Well, for the Lewis Flyers, Jay Petty is the All-American. He's a co-captain for this team. He leads Lewis in service aces, and in the first match when they defeated Ball State 3-0 in Illinois, he had 13 kills and 5 blocks. So a player, if Ball State wants to stay in this match, they're going to need to slow down tonight.
And all right, Zach Hughes, now it's time to put on your coaching cap. What are going to be some keys for both squads today if they want to pull out the big win tonight?
Well, for Ball State, it's definitely passing. Lewis leads the MIVA in blocks with 3.04 blocks per set. And on the flip side for Lewis, they need to get off to a fast start. We know how well Ball State can play here in front of their home crowd in Worthen Arena, so Lewis needs to get to a fast start if they want to stay in this match.
And it will be a great match tonight. And off the block, one of the most famous Twitter feeds for the MIVA Conference tweeted out earlier this week talking about the scenarios for Ball State making the MIVA tournament. Said with the win, Ball State moves into 3rd place in the MIVA Conference, can clinch a number 3 seed if it wins their final 2 matches. But first things first, they got to win the final 2, but they got to win 1 first, and that's going to be against the number 9 Lewis Flyers tonight, as it should be a high-flying game here in Worthen Arena. Well, we're going to have the first serve right after this short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local personal solutions for Indiana customers since 1893. Personal solutions for people just like Ethan's grandparents, who have banked with First Merchants since they can remember, and have brought him in to meet Stacy and set up his very own savings account. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Stacy.
Want all of your favorite Ball State SportsLink stories on the go? Download the new SportsLink iPad app featuring award-winning videos, in-depth written pieces, photo galleries from sports, and the monthly Top 5 plays. Download it now in the App Store. Just search SportsLink.
And welcome back inside John E. Worthen Arena as we are getting set for tonight's MIVA Conference battle between the number 9 Lewis Flyers and the 15th ranked Ball State Cardinals. And Zach, tonight is Faculty Appreciation Night at John E. Worthen Arena, and it's always great to see the faculty out here from Ball State. But let's go ahead and meet both head coaches. First, for the visiting Lewis Flyers, it's Dan Friend. He is in his 9th season at Lewis, compiling a record of 389 and 186. That's a career running percentage of 67%. He's done an outstanding job taking over the Lewis program. As for the Ball State Cardinals, looking at the other end of the floor, when you look at head coach Joel Walton, who's in his 15th season, a former Ball State player himself, played under the great Dr. Don Shondell. He's in his 15th season, record of 279 and 153, 64%, 65% career winning percentage. He has also done a great job here at Ball State. And Zach, you kind of talked about it a little bit. As you can see, the fans are getting eager and ready for this big conference matchup tonight. Ball State got out-blocked the last time they played Lewis, 15-5. That was an area we met with Coach Walton yesterday. It was an area he knew that his team had to improve in. And you mentioned Lewis is one of the best blocking teams in the nation, so it's going to be a huge key for them tonight.
Well, Lewis, as I said, is first in the MIVA with 3 blocks a set around. They start with 6'9", Bobby Walsh, who's 9th in the nation in blocks, and then Yui Zhao, who's 7th in the nation in blocks. But Ball State's number 2 in the MIVA in blocks, so we should have a block party here in Worthern tonight. It should be exciting.
It is going to be a block party, and why not? Let's look at that block party. Let's go ahead and meet the starting lineups. First for the homestanding Ball State Cardinals, and it's a pretty much usual starting lineup. Coach Walton kind of told us yesterday, Zach, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's why they have gone with this starting lineup. First with Tommy Rouse, as you see right there, the libero player for the Cardinals. And you obviously got Jamion Hartley, the heart attack killer for this team, does an outstanding job. And then Matt Leske, you mentioned the blocking. He's one of the leading blockers on the Ball State Cardinals. And then Kevin Owens, the big orange, has been a big effect for the Cardinals this year in blocking. And then, of course, Greg Herseg, lightning in a bottle, you could say, does an outstanding job, a strong killer instinct. And then Graham McIlvain, the setter for the Cardinals, kind of the quarterback, the point guard for this team. And Zach, he's been a big reason why. Coach Walton told us yesterday it's nothing against Dan Wickman, who started the season at setter, but Graham has just been more physical and has played great recently.
Well, Graham has been more physical, but Coach told us about how Graham's back row defense has made the difference between him and Dan Wickman, and he has gotten 6 double-doubles in the last 10 matches, which is unheard of for a setter. He's 18 digs is a career high. He had that a couple matches ago, and obviously he's the setter. He has 10 assists a set, which is 5th in the MIVA. He's the reason the Cardinals are on such a roll.
No doubt. They are a big reason that the Cardinals are on a roll, but the Lewis Flyers are also on a roll. And here's their starting lineup tonight. Like you said, ranked 9th in the country, predicted to finish 1st in the MIVA in the preseason. You got BJ Bulldog. That's a volleyball name right there. BJ Bulldog. Then you got freshman Bobby Walsh. You got Jeff Powell as well, Eric Fitter, and Jay Petty. And then, of course, you know, one interesting name there, Yui Zhao, the first international player for Lewis since 2003. And volleyball nuts know the story. Lewis obviously went through some rough times. They had recruiting violations in 2003, had to forfeit their national championship in 2003. And you look at Joe, he's their first international player. And you know, Coach Friend told us, you got to do it the right way, Zach, and they were able to do that getting Joe.
They definitely were able to do that, and he's such an asset to this team. He comes into this game leading the team in blocks, and so it'll be exciting here in Worthing tonight.
It should be exciting, and we are just about to start this big conference battle between 2 of the powerhouses. Ball State right now, 3rd in the conference. They're right there. They still have a chance to be locked into that 3rd seed, but they could still fall, depending how Grand Canyon does tonight. They could still fall as low as the 5 seed. But remember, Zach, the last time this Ball State team has been on a roll, but this Lewis team has been one of the last 2 teams to beat them, and you know this Ball State team remembers that.
You know they do. That 5-game losing streak earlier in the season. And they come into Worthing tonight, and Ball State's looking for revenge from that second to last match they lost on that 5-game losing streak. Ball State winners of 10 straight.
And the Cardinals, no doubt, looking for that revenge. And they will try to do that this evening. It is not going to be easy. Coach Walton said, though, the confidence with his team has been the biggest difference. He said they just lost that confidence during that 5-match skid. And we will see if they can keep it going. As number 14, Eric Fitter, he is going to have the opening serve tonight for the Lewis Flyers, as number 9 and number 15 are ready to go. And the Cardinals like normal. And Greg Herseg, there you go. Greg Herseg right on cue. And Zach, he made that move. He went from the right to the left side to open up Jamion Hartley. And, you know, Coach Walton talked about how big that was for his team to have his two best offensive options out on the floor.
Well, they can attack from antenna to antenna now, which is something a volleyball team needs if they want to be successful.
And talking about if you need something to be successful, number 15, Bobby Walsh, he steps in and says, hey, you got to have me to be successful too. A terrific block by the young freshman. Coach Friend really positive about him coming in having to replace two senior leaders. And that's going to be a service error. It's going to be a point for the Cardinals.
When we asked Coach Friend on the telephone in our interview with him, he said if we can control our unforced errors, we will have a great chance in this match. There you see their first service error of the match.
And it was a big one as Herseg rockets one over the net. And there he is again, Bobby Walsh. He's going to be there all night. And Zach, the last time we talked about, really the last time Ball State has had to deal with a loss, got off to an extremely slow start. Lewis jumped out of the gate 5-1 early and just took control from that point on. So it's really key for the Cardinals to get off to a good start here tonight. As McElvain-Naleski, the blocking, always good for Lewis, but right there they couldn't even get close to Matt Lesky. Lesky and Owens, a great combination. You're going to be hearing them a lot tonight, Zach.
As we see here, an offense-defense substitution, the libero. Tommy Rouse goes out for Kevin Owens. And right there, Kevin Owens with a nice block.
Yeah, no doubt, Kevin Owens get up high, and Jamion Hartley bats it back. That's going to be a point towards Lewis. Too many hits by Ball State trying to return it back over.
But you see the immediate impact that Kevin Owens brings with that lengthy body of his. He gets his hands on two balls right there. A definite advantage Ball State has with him on the court.
Zach, you mentioned in the pregame how passing is going to be key. There's a moment right there trying to control a ball sent over by Lewis. And there's Tommy Rouse like normal. Owens trying to tip it over there. Almost got it for a point. Hartley again. And nothing normal there. Number 14, Eric Fitter, outstanding player for the Flyers, jumps up high to get a point for Lewis as they have a 4-3 lead here early in set one.
Well, Tommy Rouse struggled to control that hard hit, and just an error on his part, sending that dig over the net.
As you're going to see Whitmer handle that, and then Kevin Owens gives it right back to Lewis.
And as I just said that, we knew a key coming in was how would Ball State control the Lewis serves, and 3 of their first 4 points, they've done that and given Graham McElvain a chance for good sets.
And Jamion Hartley with a service ace. We mentioned his offensive output, player to watch, which shows Zach Hughes knows what he's talking about when he says he's our player to watch.
That's only his 5th service ace on the season, so those come out of rarity.
And Joe right there seeing his height. And a great save by Whitmer. Sends it back over to the Flyers. And that's going to set up for Fitter.
Well, that play by Whitman is legal. You can run around the net as long as you don't go into the territory, the in-play territory on the other team's side.
Excuse me, that was actually Jay Petty who got in there for the point for Lewis. Another player to watch from Zach Hughes. Zach, you're on a roll here early on, picking out the guys that's going to be a pretty big impact in this match. There's Petty again, and that's going to be out. Another error. So far, both these teams very well coached, have been on winning streaks, Zach, and kind of weird to see both teams come out and have some errors here early on in set one.
Well, the emotions are running high for this one. They know how important it is, so no surprise with a few early errors as they get into this match.
And Owens with a block. We mentioned it's going to be a block party tonight. Owens sends it right back at Joe to get the serve right back to Whitmer. And Joe makes up for it right there, gets a point right back. And Shane Whitmer for Ball State earlier this year had the game-winning ace to beat Lindenwood in a 5-set thriller. and really has been an unsung hero, Zach. Walton told us that he's really his X factor tonight.
Yeah, exactly. He was implemented in the starting lineup as well as an extra digger against this team who spikes especially hard, as we see there.
Yep, Eric Fitter smacks it. The team of Ball State goes out of play for a point to Lewis, and we are knotted right at 7. We said it's been a season of runs, for Ball State. A volleyball is a game of runs, and right now it's going back and forth. And Greg Herseg takes it right back for Ball State to give them the 1-point advantage.
Early on, we're seeing Ball State switch up where they're setting the ball with Graham McElvain. Once again, if Tommy Rouse can control the serves, he gives Graham McElvain a great chance.
It's going to be set up by Bulldog, and Kevin Owens cannot control. Pass coming in as Tommy Rouse will come in for the Cardinals. Tied up at 8 here early on. We said this was a balanced game, Zach. It was going to probably would not be a surprise if this goes to 5 sets. And right now it shows as it's even here. Fitter again with a nice serve. It's going to be set up by Hartley. And you see the heat there. Hartley just with tremendous of a killer instinct. And Lewis unable to control it.
Well, we sat at 2 practices this week, and we were never ceased to be in amazement at how hard he can hit the ball.
And trust me, folks, we almost got hit by a couple balls, and we know that was just practice speed, not game speed. Great dive here by Graham McElvain, seeing the defensive effort there, the physical nature, and Shane Whitmer unable to hold that pass there from the back line, which that was also one of the areas, Zach, that Coach Walton told us was a key, was the improved back row defense.
Yep. Well, that's where you add a guy like Shane Whitmer to go along with Tommy Rouse. They're great at digging.
And another service there. Jeff Powell, who on the year has really done a good job controlling his serves. A mixed team, a team by Lewis that has players from all over the country. Coach Friend really preaches about getting guys from multiple different areas, as he believes it really helps with team chemistry.
That play was all set up by Greg Herseg. First, a great serve. They fielded it, but then the dig pass, which allowed the spike to happen.
As the Cardinals get it back here as Herseg going to serve back over to the Flyers. And there's Jay Petty again. Nothing working this time, though, as the Cardinals go in offensive mode. But again, great defense by the Flyers, and Jeff Powell there gets back on track. Cardinals unable to hold that one in, the setup for their offense. As the Cardinals still with 11-10 advantage here early in set 1. As Bobby Walsh going back to serve. That's going to be out again. Another service here. That's something we have been saying a lot here early on, Zach Hughes.
Well, emotions are running high still, Luke. Players are excited. Ball State, their bench is into it.
And, you know, speaking of the bench, you know, Coach Walton told us during that 5-match losing streak, the team really was going through tough times, and he would said there'll be times during a match where players would be looking at Coach Walton and saying, "Coach, put me in. What are you doing? What are we doing here?"
Yeah.
And he said that, and in his words, he said the bench attitude was awful. Obviously, winning cures a lot of things, and that's been one of the main reasons why team chemistry has really been great, Zach, that we've seen in practice.
Well, they've definitely found their niche now. Andy said it, they're winning, which cures all the problems.
And one of those niches has been the great defensive play. That's going to be an attack error there on Jay Petty. Point towards the Cardinals. And the last time, we should mention, the last time these two teams played each other, last year in Johnny Worthen Arena. The score in that first set was Tommy Rouse trying to get a diving effort there. It may go this way. It's pretty back and forth here early, Zach.
It definitely is. We'll see if either team can start to get a little separation here as we get later on in the first set.
Yeah, and the final score of that first set a year ago in Johnny Worthen was 44-42. As Lewis They just took a lot out of both teams last year. And that's just disheartening to play so hard, get 42 points, and you lose that set. But right now the Cardinals on pace. Here doing well in the first set so far. Is Jay Petty going to send it over in another service error.
I think that's really important for the Cardinals to see him kind of struggle at the start, because Coach Friend called him their X factor for this game. He came off shoulder surgery earlier in the year and had his breakout game against Ball State in the first match. So we'll see how he does tonight.
And another attacker.
So right as I say that, another service error by Ball State gives it right back.
Back and forth we go here in the first set. And that's one thing, Coach Walton kind of told us, Zach, is you got to make the other team earn it. You don't want to give them any freebies. And Coach Friend told us the same thing. That's going to be a big key tonight, is you got to be able to cut down on those errors. You just don't want to give a team an easy point.
I mean, if Ball State's doing the same thing, I guess it's not that big of a deal for Lewis at this point.
And there's a dump pass by Graham McIlvain to make it 15-13 as Ball State with the early lead. Great start so far for the Ball State Cardinals. We're going to take a short break. We will have the rest of the first set when we come back. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
Motor Trend asks car enthusiasts who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge. Ford Focus ST with EcoBoost technology took on Honda and Volkswagen.
Engine sounds awesome.
The EcoBoost is a cool combination. It's got a lot of horsepower and really great gas mileage.
It's a definite win, especially with gas prices going up. I feel like I'm driving a race car.
The bucket racing seats really held you in place.
There's no comparison.
Focus ST, hands down.
Now get a Focus with 0% financing for 60 months plus 500 challenge cash, or lease one for only $169 a month.
Fox College Sports, CBS, ESPN. Impressive clients for college students. We write, direct, and produce our Emmy-nominated programs daily. We even designed our own virtual set. Ball State. Education redefined.
Welcome back inside Johnny Worthen Arena. This Ball State Sports Link student production is brought to you by your favorite Central Indiana Ford dealer. Proud of their vehicles and proud to support the students. Ball State Sports Link, your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Zach, we mentioned how it was back and forth. 8 ties already here in the first set. Good news for Ball State fans. The Cardinals lead 15-13, and already not a lot of effort in that first match earlier this year against Lewis. Effort is not in question tonight.
Well, we've already seen 5 service error for the Lewis Flyers to only 1 for the Ball State Cardinals. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on, see if Lewis can get themselves under control and get rid of those errors.
And also 2 attack errors. So that's 7 free points so far for Ball State. It's bounced right back over, and Ryan Vandermeer. It's going to be point towards Ball State, violation on Lewis.
BJ Bulldog, I think, touched the net when he was trying to get it over there, the little floater.
And he's arguing the call right now.
But yeah, you mentioned it. 7 free points for the Cardinals. The only thing really keeping them in this game, as Lewis has had 20 attacks to Ball State's 12, so more opportunities to score, but more errors, giving Ball State the early advantage.
And Coach Walton decided to get off the bench there, just in case he had any chances of changing the call. And serving for the Cardinals was David Ryan Vandermeer. And a really good story for Vandermeer. Homeschooled, family runs a volleyball club in Michigan. Also plays sand volleyball for USA Youth. Great sand volleyball player. And we mentioned he's provided great defense for Ball State so far this year, as Coach Walton really credited him in our conversation the other day. Fitter again, going to send it right back over to the Cardinals. And Hartley, a little long there.
But again, a great job by Tommy Rouse to control that serve. That's going to be key in the long run, as I've been saying that over and over again, but that is something that Coach told us to watch out for.
Getting digs from Tommy Rouse. Nothing new with Ball State men's volleyball, that's for certain. Eric Fitter again, and Lesky got blocked there back at the net, but control it right back. There's McElvain going to set it again up to Herseg, and a great job by the Cardinal offense, never giving up on the play, just going back and forth. Zach, it was a great play. You saw Eric Butch, which another guy that Coach Walton said really a big difference for Lewis as well on the defensive side. Butch kind of the Tommy Rouse of Lewis and their win streak as well.
He's not even listed as the libero on their roster, but they switched him there.
Yep.
And they've been on a roll ever since.
And there is the Great Wall, as they call the Ball State men's volleyball team. Matt Lesky, Greg Hersig, Jamion Hartley getting in there. Shane Whitmer.
I raved about the 2 blockers for Lewis earlier in the broadcast, but Matt Lesky leads the nation in blocks, so no surprise there with that one.
Gray McElvain goes a little bit wide, off to the right side of the floor. Fortunately, another error for the Cardinals here early on, but still really in control of this first set. Been back and forth. But Greg Petty, the brother of Jay Petty, the Petty brothers, and Greg doesn't have a lot of the big statistics, but has really been a big part of why Lewis has had a lot of success. And Greg Herseg there getting in there. Another big point for the Cardinals, making a 3-point advantage. As the Cardinals trying to take full command here. And a great block. That's Shane Whitmer getting in there. Going one-on-one with Jay Petty. And that's going to be a timeout called by Lewis. Coach Friend want to talk it over as the Cardinals, Zach, starting to build some positive momentum.
Well, you don't usually see Shane Whitmer get up and block very many balls. And when talking to Coach, he said, people don't really respect Shane Whitmer because he's not as physically imposing as people like Jamion Hartley, but you see him there with a huge, huge play to give Ball State all the momentum in the world, and they're 5 points away from winning set number 1 as we see the replay here of that block.
Yeah. See, Eric Butch did a good job of handling it, but then you just see Shane Whitmer, Matt Lesky, both get in there. And you talk about that middle attack for Ball State. And that's always been something, not just this year, but historically, that Ball State has always been good at.
Well, yeah, and you don't usually see people blocking Bobby Walsh as Shane Whitmer did right there. Walsh hitting near 500 on the season, which is unheard of for volleyball players. So a great job by Shane Whitmer getting Ball State the momentum as we near the end of set number 1.
And you mentioned Bobby Walsh, freshman from Chicago, Illinois, which obviously a volleyball recruiting area in that Chicago area. A lot of great volleyball teams up there. Loyola, another great volleyball school, which we'll be seeing Saturday. But we got tonight first to handle with. There's sends it right back over. Again. See number 16, BJ Bulldog, dumps it off there. Catching Ball State a little off guard there, Zach.
Yeah, but a lot of good things happen when Greg Herseg's behind the service line, and we saw him get 2 points, but a little unfortunate there as Lewis pulls within 3 here.
BJ Bulldog. So that's Tom Logan back there to serve. And he goes along. Tom Logan, not a lot of stats on the year. Actually has 0 kills. Has still yet to record a kill on the season. 6 digs, 9 assists, and just a little bit long there on his serve.
Well, they kind of bring him in as a service specialist.
Serving specialist.
6 service aces on the seasons for him, but a little long there.
Just a little long. I don't think Coach Walton's going to complain as Dane Whitman comes in to serve for the Cardinals. McElvain setting it up for Whitmer. Unable to get anything going. Jay Petty. Great defense by Herseg, though. Hartley getting involved for Ball State. And another great block. There you see Shane Whitmer getting in there again. Kevin Owens in there as well. And against Quincy over the weekend, Zach, speaking of Shane Whitmer, you know, doesn't get that a lot of attention, How about this? 13 kills, 12 digs against Quincy, a double-double. Something that just isn't easy to do, especially when you got so many talented players.
I mean, it just shows how good he is at volleyball. I mean, he can really do everything for the Cardinals, and that's why he earned his spot in the starting lineup.
And a tip there by Ball State to give the point to Lewis to cut the Cardinal lead to 4. Cardinals this year, like we mentioned, 9-2 at home. Have really done a great job at home. The only 2 losses were to IPFW and Grand Canyon, and those seem like decades ago. As Logan back in the serve again. And Hartley just gets it in. It was close. But you know what? Hey, close counts here.
Exactly. Now he's going back to serve, see if he can finish this set off for the Cardinals with 2 points left.
And Jamion Hartley was really non-existent against the last time they played Lewis. Nothing on the stat board. As Joe tries to get it in there. That's going to be an error.
The crowd and bench starting to get excited as we're 1 point away here.
Getting set 1. And Dan Fran going to take his last time out of the set. And this is a big moment, Zach, because put this in the perspective. Ball State on the year, they are 17-1 when they win the first set. That is an astronomical number, a big number, a huge key for this team. Getting off to that great start. 17-1 says it.
And on the reverse side, I talked about Lewis trying to get off to a fast start here in set 1 of the pregame, and not doing that. Too many errors still this late in the first set.
Yeah, just a lot of errors right now in this matchup. Which, like I said, both teams very well coached, and that's just something you don't see a lot. As that's 7 errors right now total for Lewis.
And we're starting to see, we talked about how big Lewis was, and Coach Walton talked to us about how they're going to change their defense. Instead of the opposite outside attacker going under the blockers, they're going to rotate him back to the back line to give him more options in the back to dig out the ball. And we're seeing more people other than Tommy Rouse dig out balls for the Cardinals and really control it.
And we mentioned those errors. 7 errors for Lewis, only 1 for Ball State. That's 7 freebies. As Hartley going to try to get the Cardinals to win the first set. And they will do it. Kevin Owens, Shane Whitmer
again.
Well,
what a first set.
By the end of this first set, and really probably by the end of the night, he's not going to be a no-namer anymore. Phenomenal job by Shane Whitmer as the Cardinals take set 1, 25-18. We should have an exciting second set, but we got to take a short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local personal solutions for Indiana customers since 1893. Personal solutions for people just like Carson's grandparents, who have banked with First Merchants since they can remember, and have brought him in to meet Brian and set up his very own savings account. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Brian.
I'm committed to solving threats to the environment. Studying in Brazil has taught me to work in diverse settings. I've developed real plans that enable people and the environment to thrive. Ball State, education redefined.
And welcome back inside Johnny Worthen Arena as the Cardinals take the first set, 25, excuse me. I don't know where I got the 18. Man, 28, that'd be fantastic. But 25-18. Good start so far, Zach, for the Cardinals. And a big reason for it is they've been able to control those freebie points, which Lewis has been unable to do there in the first set.
Well, we see the Cardinals right now in that first set hitting 450 to Lewis's 182, which is a drastic difference. And then we mentioned the whole first set, how many errors Lewis was making. 8 errors on the attack, 6 errors with the serve. Another key to this Ball State win in the first set.
Another big key, and really, you know, one of the great storylines heading into this match. And here are the highlights right now of the first set. As you see, Graham McIlvain really coming in there, doing a great job, a great dump-off pass. And it's just a great start. Ball State is a team, if they can get off to that great start, Zach, like I mentioned, you know, 17-1 when they win that first set. And they've just really done a great job throughout the whole night controlling Lewis's offense.
Ball State is honestly really doing whatever they want at this point. We see the substitutions helping, and Ball State really controlling this game.
Tune in every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock p.m. to Sports Link Radio on WCRD 91.3 for On the Clock with Zach Hughes and Luke Martin. The show covers everything Ball State sports, plus friends from the sports media world, from ESPN, CBS, and more. Sports Link Radio presents On the Clock every Wednesday night. Got to thank our producer, Brad Dailey, for putting that in there. I've never heard of that radio show, On the Clock. Have you, Zach? Do you know what that radio show is?
I'm not sure, man.
I'm not sure either. But hey, tune in anyways. Every Wednesday night. Actually, it's been a joy doing that radio show. WCRD, just one of the great experiences here at Ball State from a student media perspective. But Zach, we get the bump up tonight. We go to TV duties for the first time.
I know.
That's always nice to do. Get bumped up into the big leagues. And right now, the Cardinals will try to capture set 2. But you know, Dan Friend, I mean, simply, you know, if you're Coach Friend, Zach, looking at that first set, I mean, you almost pretty much, you don't want to say you gave it to Ball State, but you take those 7 errors away, you're right there with them.
I mean, you got 14 total errors, so yeah, you take those away. But Ball State really controlling the net at this point.
And the Cardinals get a free ball over to have a great chance here to get something going. And Hartley keeps it going.
Graham McIlvain is doing an outstanding job controlling this team and setting the ball different places, really keeping Lewis on their toes. They don't know where he's going with the ball.
And that's one thing, you know, McIlvain did not start the year as right there when we give him credit, has a service error. You know, didn't start the season. Dan Wickman started. Just a great perseverance thing. He never gave up. He just kept fighting, was a really good teammate. And eventually he was called upon, and he served in every 10. He's been the setter for Ball State in this 10-match winning streak for all 10 matches. Lewis trying to get something going here. And there's Matt Lesky sending it back over.
That actually was a net violation, I believe, on Lewis. Gave the point to Ball State. Either way, Ball State with a 2-1 lead here early in the second set.
Either way, Cardinals get a point. That's the most important thing. See Eric Butch there awaiting Greg Hirsek's serve. There's Jay Petty again. Couldn't get anything going. But Eric Fitterer does, as he knocks it right down into the middle.
Eric Fitterer finding that gap in between Tommy Ross and Greg Hirseg in the back row there. Just a great finish by him.
Nice put away. As it's 2-2 right now, Ball State. And that's going to be a point for Ball State as Lewis touched it, went out of play to make it 3-2 Ball State here early in the second set. As Ball State fans enjoying this so far, as Lesky will go back to serve. He's second on the team in attack percentage. And right there, gets a service ace, Zach.
That's a good sight.
Good sight to see. Yeah. Good sight to see. Another thing about Matt Lesky, you know, more known for his defense. 4-time MIVA Defensive Player of the Week this year. The only Cardinal was on the preseason All-MIVA team.
We see that service error, but going back to his service ace, he went from a jump server earlier in the year to a float server, now back to a jump server, and we've seen a drastic improvement in what he's been able to do.
Coach Walton pointing that out to us, just making him feel comfortable. It's always a key with volleyball. You just got to be comfortable with what you're doing. And Jamion Hartley, is this coming towards our booth? Jay Petty almost join us here on announcer's row. But Hartley going to send it back. And just been a big part of this Ball State offense so far tonight and just during this win streak.
The Flyers at this point, 5-3 early in the set number 2. 0 blocks for the Lewis Flyers.
And that was something that they dominated the last time in Romeoville, Illinois. And the Bulldog gets feisty there. Gets a point to pull Lewis back within 1 here as it's 5-4 Ball State. And Bulldog, he also changed his serve, Zach. Walton pointed that out to us. Being a spin serve. Really just a tough guy to defend. As Petty, trying to float it over. Unfortunately, not enough.
Another unforced error there for Lewis. Tried to just float that one over and didn't get enough of it.
You're right, Zach. Another unforced error, which adds to their total to 9. 9 free points. You're not going to see Joe Walton say, hey, don't give them to us. We're going to take anything we can get. As Hartley, that's going to be knocked out of play. But at the same time, Zach, you got to credit Ball State's philosophy. Because at the same time, they're making them force some of those errors because they're thinking how they're going to attack this Ball State team.
Exactly.
With Ball State being the top defensive team in the MIVA Conference, they make all their opponents earn everything they get.
Holding opponents to the 168 hitting average. That is first in the MIVA. Still no blocks for the Lewis Flyers. Ball State takes a 7-5 lead here in the second set. Already have a 1-0 lead.
And there's Greg Harriseg again. And, once again, what a great story that Harriseg. And really, he doesn't get he got a lot of attention at the beginning of the season as Jeff Powell there gets a point for Lewis to make it 7-6. Ball State still with a 1-point advantage.
You can't slow down Jeff Powell forever.
But Harriseg, Zach, if he did not make that move from the right to the left side, Jamion Hartley would not be out on the floor, and they give Ball State their 2 best options.
Yep, exactly.
There's a great dig there by Jay Petty. He's going to set up for Powell. Diving effort by Harriseg and Rouse, but neither of them, unfortunately, able to keep it alive for Ball State. As they tie it up at 7 here in the second set. As you see Coach Walton getting into his guys, Graham McElvain leading the team. And that just got over. Barely did, but it got over to give Lewis.
That's kind of a new recent rule that the serve can hit the net and go over. And that's exactly what happened right there to give Lewis the lead.
And right now it is 8-7 Lewis as they take a lead here in the second set. But you know what? Graham McElvain says, Luke Martin, we're going to take it right back, at least tie it up here.
Graham McElvain is playing with such passion tonight. He said, I'm going to do this myself, and just slams it home.
And a surprise dump pass as Butch diving on the floor for Lewis. And another great job, but Lewis able to get it back, to keep it alive. Rouse again digging it out. Harriseg bumping it over, but Butch giving it the Bulldog. And unfortunately, Lewis not able to handle it.
That was a great rally by both teams. You usually don't see that in the men's game. Men's bump, set, finish, point. That was a rally.
And a great rally indeed. And if the Cardinals want to stop those rallies, it's going to be Greg Harriseg and Jamion Hartley. Those are the two. Coach Walton said, give them able to stop those rallies. And how about Tommy Rouse? Great effort there, just couldn't control it. Well, unfortunately, going to be an error there for the Cardinals. Point will go to Lewis to tie this thing up at 9 apiece.
Well, this is kind of the same scenario we saw in the first half. Back and forth, back and forth. Then Ball State late in the first set pulled away. We'll see what happens here in the second.
Eric Fitter, sophomore from Edwardsville, Illinois native. And Hartley sends it out of here. I think that hurt a little bit, Zach. I think I could that hurt from here. I could feel that hit.
I'm telling you, he hits that ball so hard. I don't know how anyone can return that.
Well, there's a reason we're here at the announcer's booth. That's because if we could do that, we'd be playing for Coach Dan Friend, as you see him right there. Coach Friend, a lot of success.
He might just be in as much shock as we are.
A lot of success indeed for Lewis over the years.
Again.
Jamion Hartley trying to make Ball State having their continued success, making it 11-9.
2 straight points for him.
2 straight points. As Herseg back to serve it up for the Cardinals. It's going to be just a little bit long, and that's one thing, Zach, that Coach Walton has tried to work on with Herseg and Hartley. He's like, hey, they have their inconsistencies, but when they are called on, when it's crunch time, you can count on them.
Exactly. And we see Hartley doing a little bit of that now.
And Shea Whitmer having a heck of a night so far, trying to keep it going as he sets it up there. That's going to be out on Lewis. Makes it 12-10. Kevin Owens coming into the game. Tommy Rouse going out. Lesky going to serve. Cardinals trying to keep it going here. After Lewis took a short lead in the second set.
A great serve right there. He served that exactly where he wanted to on the court. He saw that little hole in the Lewis defense, and he put it right where he wanted to.
Another service ace by Matt Lesky. And Matt Lesky on the season, Zach, not a guy that's really known for service aces. He only has 8 heading into the night. Doesn't matter if you're known for it, as long as you're doing it. Hey, it helps out your team. As Jay Petty trying to get something going for the Flyers. Get some positive momentum building. As Whitmer dumps it over. But the Flyers, as Greg Petty there getting in on the action. Fitterer going to set it up. Petty. Butch able to save it. But the Cardinals offense in motion. Keeping it going again. This long rally. McElvain unable to save it. Gonna get the point to Lewis.
That's gotta be disheartening for the Cardinals. Such another long rally, and they just came up a little bit short on that point.
You know, it's going to be disheartening to anybody. Anytime you lose a long rally, it is a point in the match where it can really change the match. And substitution here.
We'll see if Bobby that has any effect.
As number 21, Patrick Lilly, coming into the game for the first time tonight. Has 16 service aces on the season. Serving specialist for the Flyers.
Yep. I think Coach Friend knows they need a point here.
They need something to go in their favor. And right when we say it, gets a service error. Walsh going to come back in. And Zach, this was a Lewis team that made it to the NCAA tournament last year, made it to the Final Four. Program that's had success in the past. They've had to replace a lot. And right now be in first place in the MIVA. They're doing their job, trying to play their best volleyball at the end of the season. As they make Hartley unable to handle that one as it goes out of play. To make it 14-12, Ball State. Here in set 2, Coach Friend giving the signal out to his server. Hiding it from the TV crew, though. He doesn't want to give us any clues on which zone they're sending it over to. Kevin Owens with a smile on his face, ready to get one. And the Cardinals avoided the touch. Coach Friend arguing the call. He's saying it was clearly touched by the Cardinals. The officials don't see it that way. Trying to get it changed, but it ain't going to happen. Cardinals lead it 15-12, halfway through set 2. We're going to take a short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
Motor Trend asked people who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge. Ford Fusion with EcoBoost technology took on Honda and Toyota.
Ooh, baby. This is a 4-cylinder? 37 miles per gallon. That's awesome.
Assisted parking? This is amazing. I feel like I'm cheating on my Honda.
The power, the way it handles, in comparison to the Camry, is a lot better.
It fits my personality. It's me.
Now, get a Fusion with 0% financing for 60 months or lease one for only $209 a month. Visit your Ford dealer.
Be a fan. Ball State SportsLink's Emmy-nominated monthly magazine show tells the best stories in Ball State sports. Catch Be a Fan on Fox College Sports, Comcast Indiana, WIPB, and online at ballstatesports.com.
Welcome back in the Johnny Worthen Arena. Did you know Muncie Nissan offers 2 years of free maintenance with every vehicle sold, used and new? Muncie Nissan, treating you better, giving you more. And proud to support Ball State SportsLink's monthly all sports magazine TV show, Be a Fan. Great monthly TV show that SportsLink produces with Josh Blessing and Ashley Reed. And right now, great play so far by the Ball State Cardinals with a 15-12 lead here in set 2. But Yui Zhou trying to get the Flyers back in this thing. One of the more talented guys on the Lewis team. Big middle blockers, and Lewis dominated the blocking battle back in February. As you see an error there by Lewis as it's now 16-13 Ball State.
Luke, you mentioned Lewis out-blocked Ball State in the first matchup 15-5. Right now that mark is 5.5 for Ball State to 0. 0 blocks for Lewis. 16-13 Ball State in set number 2.
Just really hard to believe. But Greg Petty getting involved. And we mentioned Greg Petty. You know, Jay Petty gets a lot of the attention, mostly because he's the older brother of the two. But Greg is also a very reliable piece of this team. 47 kills, 8 service aces, 29 digs, and 25 blocks on the season. Another Illinois native. As Tom Logan coming back in again to serve it for Lewis. As once again the Flyers also trying to get some positive momentum building. Herseg sends it over, and that's going to be touched by Lewis. Giving the point to Herseg and the Cardinals. Always been great to just see Greg Herseg, one of the senior leaders on this team, getting involved, especially being in a new position for him. Something he's not used to, but has been used to.
Exactly. He's done so much for this team since moving sides. That coach said doesn't get a lot of recognition, but it's so important to the team.
And actually, you know, Coach Walton had a conversation with Greg's parents when he made the switch, because he knew it was going to be a very hard switch as a timeout is called here by Lewis. But he knew it was going to be a hard switch for Greg because Greg was so used to being on that right side. But Coach knew that he had to get more offensive production. And Zach, in order to do that, he had to get his best 2 offensive players out there. But, you know, when he made the switch, Herseg was fine about it. He said, hey, whatever's going to make us win.
Well, and that's exactly what happened. Ever since putting Jamion back in the starting lineup, 10 straight wins. And we talked to Coach Friend and we talked to Coach Walton about this, and they both mentioned the fact that Ball State in their first match couldn't attack from antenna to antenna, the whole net. It allowed Lewis to shrink their defense and only play half the court because they only had Herseg. Now you bring Jamion Hartley in, and we've already seen how hard he can hit the ball. A little inconsistent at times, but tonight he has played very well. Greg Herseg starting to find his groove on the left side, and the Cardinals very, very hard to stop with those four in the front row with Kevin Owens and Matt Lesky.
And Coach Friend even told us earlier on the week, and we talked to him, and even when we chatted with him before the game tonight, it's basically pick your poison when you talk about Ball State.
Yeah.
Where in the end, you really didn't have to pick your poison. You could pretty much shut down their offense by having Jamion Hartley and Greg Herseg as they stand next to each other here. As McElvain serves, it's going to be a service error for the Cardinals as the errors have been low.
The Lewis bench trying to get their team back into this one.
Well,
they're excited.
They need some sense of urgency to get back into this thing. As Ball State haven't been huge dominating leads, Zach, but at the same time, it's been a pretty comfortable game for Ball State.
Yeah.
Lesky
went up high for that one.
Nothing more you need to say other than Matt Lesky right there. And that has been the way this match has gone, Zach. Right when you think Lewis is going to make their run, it's Lesky, Hartley, Herseg, even Whitmer getting involved. Someone stops that run for the Flyers. As Hartley setting it up for the Cardinals, but now
that was a great save by the Cardinals.
Gave it off the Bulldog, who ended up dumping it off into the Ball State defense to get a point to make it 19-16. Coach Friend always energetic on the sideline. And an interesting story with Coach Friend, Zach, is they had to make a transition in the women's volleyball program. And he was coaching the men's and women's team at the same time. And during his interim season with the women's volleyball team, Coach Friend took them to their first conference championship in 14 years. During his interim season with them, 17-3, 25-6 overall, and went to the NCAA tournament. And still had his coaching duties for his men's team.
Exactly. Now his wife is the Lewis women's volleyball coach, and he's the men's coach.
So he's passed the duties off to his wife once he was done.
Exactly.
Once he was done,
he says, follow in these footsteps.
I wonder who really makes the game plans then. You know, who makes those game plans? But just an interesting storyline there. Just hard to fathom coaching pretty much two teams at the same time. It's a year-round thing.
Graham McElvain is taking control of this game for the Cardinals. It seems like every time he gets to set the ball, the Cardinals have an open kill because Lewis doesn't know where he's going to set it to.
And it's funny because you see Kevin Owens, every time McElvain sets it up, and Owens does it every time, you see a huge smile on his face. And it's just saying with confidence. Not a smile there, though, but he just knows that it's going to be in the right place at the right time. And to give him a great opportunity.
I really like Kevin Owens. We watched 2 days of practice. He's such a leader. He just leads by example, does everything they ask of him. He's a really good player.
Shags balls in practice, sets up mats, does all the little work, including the blocking work for this Cardinal team. Right there, putting Ball State up by 4. And right now, 3 points away from going up 2-0 on the number 9 team in the country. Yui Zhou getting involved, pulling them back within 3.
Kevin Owens right now hitting 600. Last season, he hit 400 on the whole year. That was the 20th best single season mark in Ball State history. This season, hitting 411. And that's only going to go up if he continues this kind of game.
And Ball State, their hitting percentage is just going to go up. They're hitting at 469 right now. As Herseg makes it 23-19, Ball State.
2 points away from taking a 2-0 lead.
Which would be absolutely huge for this team. As a service error there by Kevin Owens. And Zach, you mentioned it in the open to our broadcast tonight. Only 2 sets have been lost in the month of March for this Ball State team. Perfect 8-0, but only lost 2 sets.
It's incredible. Graham McElvain is doing whatever he wants. They cannot stop him.
They can't stop him, and he's going back to serve. And he's had a couple service errors tonight. Let's see if he can get this thing over.
He's hitting 600. Greg Herseg is hitting 636. Matt Lesky is hitting 556. Kevin Owens at 600. Ball State is controlling this game. Graham McElvain already has 22 assists.
Been an outstanding game thus far.
He's averaging 10 assists a set. He has 22 assists tonight in 2 sets.
And still, the most amazing thing is, Zach, is we are almost through 2 sets. And Lewis, the best blocking team in the conference, one of the best in the country, 0 blocks. And we've talked about it a lot already, but you're halfway through this thing already, through the whole match, and they dominated the blocking edge, 15-5 in the first game earlier this season. But once again, credit Ball State. They know that they won that advantage 15-5 too.
Exactly.
They totally understood that. And as you can see right here, a replay of the last point for the Cardinals. Shane Whitmer once again, and there you see it, Graham McElvain.
When you're setting that many times and you're setting that well, they don't expect that quick put over.
Which is why he does it. As McElvain, as they're trying to get set point.
Ooh, they're saying the Cardinals touched it.
I have a feeling the fans behind us and in the arena do not agree with that call. Coach Walton didn't agree, but hey, it's 24-21. Cardinals get another chance here with Eric Fitterer going back, trying to get a rally of their own. But Ball State in full control right now. McElvain setting up the Herseg and unable to get anything going.
Block number 1. With 1 point from Ball State winning set number 2. And Lewis gets their first block.
Timeout by Ball State now. And now Lewis. Man, their bench just jumped up with extreme enthusiasm. They're excited. They're trying to get back into this thing. As it's 24-22.
They're on a little run of their own, a 3-0 run.
And you know, this is something too about this Lewis team is they played so much great competition. And you know, Ball State was the last unbeaten team in the country. Starting off the year 8-0, they were the last team in the NCAA men's volleyball Division I to be undefeated. And a big reason for it was, you know, the reason Lewis wasn't undefeated was they played so much great competition. BYU, Santa Barbara, Cal Baptist, Penn State, unable to beat Penn State, which is a team that Ball State was lucky enough to defeat. As we see another replay here of the last point that went towards Lewis's way as Herseg tried to sneak it over, but unable to. As Lewis able to send it right back.
Well, you mentioned that the early start for Lewis, but that they started 1-5, won 18 of their last 20 since then, but that one win came over the number 1 ranked team in the nation now, BYU, so they can definitely hang with the better teams.
Fitterer sends it over. Greg Petty getting involved. Sends it to his brother, but now the Cardinals in work. Hartley unable to get anything going. And here we go, Greg Petty with a big point. Lewis now within 1. That's going to be back-to-back timeout calls by Joe Walton. This is a big moment here right now, Zach Hughes, because Ball State had control.
Yep.
Looking to really go in and take set 2. But just a great effort.
They let BJ Bulldog, their setter, go and get that one. He put it up in a perfect place for Fitterer to knock that one in. But you mentioned it. Ball State really had control. 24-19. Lewis calls a timeout. Ball State's thinking, we're going to go into the locker room.
Up 2-0.
Up 2-0, all the momentum in the world. And here come the Flyers. If they win this set, obviously 1-1, it's anybody's match.
And that is so demoralizing for Ball State. And
exactly.
Really, it's going to be demoralizing for either team, because whatever happens on this play, in these sections of plays coming up, or some plays, one team's just going to be so demoralized. Lewis coming back, having a chance to get back into this thing, and Ball State take it away. But right now, momentum was on Ball State's side, but it looks like it is flipped. Fitterer going to try to keep it going and give Lewis to tie this thing up, which would really make it interesting. Rouse.
Great dig.
And how about that? We talked about the blocking, wondering when it would show up, and it showed up. Look at that bench from Lewis. They are absolutely into this match. And just a moment ago, Zach Hughes, the complexion of this match has changed completely.
With one timeout, Lewis on a 5-0 run.
And right now, they got a chance. They had a lead earlier on. It was 8-7 and a service ace. Eric Fitterer keeping it going. And how about this? Lewis, set point. They are maybe about to steal this second set. When I say steal, I mean steal it. Big serve by Fitterer. Going to be handled by Herseg. Sets it up for Herseg, not touched. And how about this? The Lewis Flyers come all the way back, score 6 unanswered, take the set number 2, 26-24, and we are now tied in this match at 1 set apiece as we head to the intermission break. Wow, what a doozy we got, as these are the 2 top teams in the MIVA Conference. We'll be back with our intermission report right after this short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local, customized solutions for Indiana businesses since 1893. For business owners, that means when you're looking for the person that makes the final decision, at First Merchants, the answer is right in front of you. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Greg.
Motor Trend asks car enthusiasts who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge. Ford Focus ST with EcoBoost technology took on Honda and Volkswagen.
Engine sounds awesome.
The EcoBoost is a cool combination. It's got a lot of horsepower and really great gas mileage.
It's a definite win, especially with gas prices going up. I feel like I'm driving a race car.
The bucket racing seats really held you in place.
There's no comparison.
Focus ST, hands down.
Now get a Focus with 0% financing for 60 months plus 500 challenge cash, or lease one for only $169 a month.
I've always loved writing songs. Now we've adapted a novel into a full musical, collaborating with the novelist, my student team, and Broadway mentors. It's thrilling to hear my lyrics and score on center stage. Ball State, education redefined.
It has been a great match thus far, as we are tied at 1 match, 1 set apiece here between the number 9 Lewis Flyers and the 15 Ball State Cardinals. As the Cardinals, Zach, yet again, just very disheartening. Had the match in full control, led 24-20, looking to go up 2-0. All the momentum in the world. And then on a flip of a switch, Lewis takes all the momentum back. And give credit to Coach Friend.
Exactly.
His team could have threw it into the bag and said, all right, we're just going to have to come back, regroup at intermission, try to get set 3. They regrouped, a terrific rally. And you got to credit the Lewis Flyers.
I want to know what Coach Friend said in that one timeout. Down by 5, Ball State with a set point 6 times. And the Lewis Flyers escape. And now they go into intermission, 1 set apiece. And we'll have our hands full coming up in set number 3. But looking at the stats, the Lewis Flyers with 0 blocks late, really late in that second set. They go into half with 2 blocks. So they started to play way harder and kind of know what Graham McElvain was doing.
Yeah, 2 blocks for Lewis. And really, it was that 1 block towards the end, Zach, that really got the momentum going for him. As you're seeing the second half, as the second set highlights, and the Cardinals really controlled it. Did a great job. Matt Lesky had an outstanding second set. But unfortunately, the Cardinals just unable to finish the job, something that has been not really a struggle for this team. Like you said, only losing 2 sets in the month of March. But still, Ball State competing, something they really weren't doing a month ago when they played against Lewis.
Exactly.
But still a very positive outcome for this team, looking at all of these different statistics.
It'll be interesting to see how Ball State responds after that, because they really did have that one in the bag, and they just let it slip from their fingers.
Yeah, they had it totally in the bag. And as you see, Dr. Don Shondell, one of the legendary head coaches, and as you can see, the Ball State coaching tree, Zach, is a heck of a coaching tree.
Yeah.
As Coach Walton always talks about it, Craig Skinner, head women's volleyball coach at Kentucky, Dave Shondell at Purdue, and then you look at the men's volleyball side and Pete Hansen, and you got the head coach at IPFW who does an outstanding job. I mean, it's just been an unbelievable coaching career. And then you see Steve Shondell, who's the head coach for the women's volleyball program, PA announcer as well here for the men's volleyball team. He does a great job. And actually, 2 Ball State players got a chance to coach as well. They got to coach Cowan High School to a state championship, and that was none other than Urim and Julian Welsh-Wright. Urim Durkowski did a great job, and their package that was produced by Brad Dailey and Kevin Thurman. And as we are here talking about this coaching tree, Zach, and that's one of the things about Ball State. That's one of the positive things is so many players have an opportunity to come to this school and not just play, but coach. And the Munsiana program has been a big part of that.
It has. It gives the Ball State players like Kevin Owens, who want to come here and play and coach at the same time, it gives them that option. But Dr. Don Shondell, as we saw in that first set, a legendary coach here. He has the 2nd most career wins in men's college history with 769. Just the Shondell family. Great volleyball tradition there.
Probably unmatched volleyball tradition when you really look at it. And the funny thing is about looking at this coaching tree. It all starts with Dr. Don, and Coach Walton was telling us that the other day.
Well, you look at Don Shondell is one of his biggest mentors, Joel Walton. I mentioned he has the 2nd most career wins. He started the men's volleyball program here at Ball State in 1964 here at Ball State. He co-founded the MIVA. He was the first president of the MIVA. He currently coaches at Muncie Burris, the 8th grade team. They went 16-0 in 2006. Dave Shondell, one of his sons, head coach at Purdue. John Shondell, another son, assistant at Purdue. And Steve Shondell, the head women's volleyball coach here at Ball State.
As we are getting ready here to start set number 3 between the Cardinals and the Lewis Flyers.
Both teams returning from the locker room. We'll see what Joel Walton had to say about that second set. The Cardinals, again, a 24-19 lead. And Lewis comes back, 7 straight points. Takes the second set 26-24. The Cardinals out on the court. Graham McElvain, he's still having a great match. Greg Herseg trying to get the troops fired up. But all the momentum in the world right now on the Lewis Flyers side. And they'll start with a serve.
start with the serve here in set number 3. As you see Shane Whitmer there, phenomenal game so far. Really been on a roll. Like we mentioned, a double-double against Quincy last weekend. Graham McElvain getting set here for set number 3. And the beginning part of this set, Zach, is going to be interesting to watch. We talked about that momentum. We'll see if Lewis can come out here and really attack Ball State again. And it's something that they could end up starting to take control, because Ball State really controlled the first 2 sets, even though it's tied at 1 apiece.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Hartley gets it started. Great way to start it for the point towards Ball State.
It's really important for the Cardinals to get off to a fast start here in the 3rd set and try to regain that momentum.
McElvain trying to keep it going, but BJ Bulldog
stealing a page out of Graham McElvain's book there.
Well, just stealing a page on how to be successful in volleyball. You're going to be seeing that a lot today. Going to be throwing out a lot of different things, trying to catch both teams off guard. These teams know each other very, very well. As Herseg with a nice save, as Rouse will sit it back. But Joe looking to get something going for Lewis. And Greg Petty
just fired that one in there.
Fired that one in there. Soaring high above the net.
Lewis taking their first early lead in a set.
Since 8-7 in set number 2. And then, of course, before they ultimately took control of set 2 and ended up winning it. And right now, this match has changed. Momentum and everything, every way possible. The Flyers really starting to get it clicking. And we mentioned, Zach, that really the biggest reason why the first set did not go their way were due to all the errors, and they've really cut down on those errors as Hartley gets a kill.
Well, we mentioned it early on in the game. When the Cardinals face adversity, they're either going Jamion Hartley or Greg Herseg. And Jamion Hartley right now single-handedly almost keeping Ball State in this game.
And a great job by Bulldog rushing over to send it over to Ball State's side. As Butch sets up for Petty. Great defensive effort though by Ball State. But Zhou continues to put on a show from China. One of the international players for Lewis. Big reason they have so much success, Zach, in that middle. As Petty rockets it too far, which gives Ball State.
That was good for Ball State because we saw late in that second set, they thought a ball was going to travel out. It ended up going in, so still trusting their instincts here in the third set on whether a ball is going to be in or out on the serve.
As Lesky, yet again, and we spoke about Matt Lesky before the match and throughout how good server, but doesn't normally get those service aces. But tonight he's getting them, and that's really been huge, and that's what has kind of been one of those equalizers for Ball State.
He had 8 before this match and already 2 this evening.
And that's probably something that Coach Walton, by design, as Hartley with a point. You know the old phrase, there's a rhyme and a reason for everything that you do. And the reason Lesky's had so much success and why he's putting back them to serve so much is just from a strategic standpoint that Walton believes he can attack Lewis from. As Hartley.
That was a huge play by Hartley. A bad set there. It was traveling over the net. That's why the Lewis player was able to get his hands on it, but Jamion Hartley just out-muscles him and puts it away.
6-4 advantage for the Cardinals after Lewis jumped out early here in set number 3. Lesky rockets it over. As the Flyers set up their offense, and Jay Petty
still a good serving.
Continuing to add to his kills tonight. And Jay Petty, 4 kills tonight. Add on top of 243, 247 kills on the season. As Rouse, a diving effort, just comes up a little bit short, which ended up giving the point to Lewis.
Well, Whitmer and McIlvain went up for the block there, but Lewis just floats it over, and Tommy Rouse unable to dig that one up.
And once again, Hartley coming up big, edging the Cardinals by a point.
It's only 7-6 in this third set. Jamion Hartley already with 3 kills.
Back and forth we go. We knew this was going to be a good one. And so far, it's living up to expectations. As Shane Whitmer unable to handle the pass to set up the Ball State offense. Joel Walton looking on, knows this is what you call a measuring stick weekend, is what he told us. He's going to find out a lot about both his team, about all of these teams this weekend, but more so about his team in these 2 matches. As Jay Petty rockets it over, but great defense by the Cardinals. Petty says, hey, I'll try it again. And he's successful to give Lewis a 1-point lead.
That was a huge kill for Lewis. The crowd got into it after Ball State saved it, and he took that right away.
Took it right away, something the Cardinals have really been doing for most of the match. It was a great job by Herseg, setting it up for Kevin Owens.
Gray McIlvain there. A shorter set, so Kevin Owens could just rocket that one in there.
And that sure was a rocket as it ties the set up at 8. And just going to let that one go. Tommy Rouse unable to control it. Makes it 9-8 Lewis. Matching their national ranking. The Cardinals have had success against ranked opponents this year. Actually, they've won their last 2 games against ranked opponents. They're going to be wide left, as the point will go towards the Cardinals to tie this thing back up at 9. Just a great back and forth battle this evening. And that's going to be out again. BJ Bulldog try to get in there. Jay Petty try to get in there, excuse me.
I have a feeling Coach Walton deciding to leave Kevin Owens on longer in this set, I think that's going to play dividends for the Cardinals. Already 2 serves, 2 points. Kevin Owens.
It's working.
Taking a 2-point lead.
That's why Coach Walton gets paid the big bucks here at Ball State. Leading 11-9, and Owens.
Maybe I got in his head a little bit.
Yeah. The old announcer's jinx there. Makes it 11-10. And Coach Walton, always a joy to talk to. It was just great being able to talk to him at practice throughout the week. Our conversation with him Wednesday afternoon. And Ball State filled with so many great head coaches, and he's one of them. And they're going to get the point to Lewis.
It's really important for Ball State to capitalize when Lewis sends the freshman Patrick Lilly back there to serve.
Assistant coach Kevin Furnish and Joe Walton getting off the bench, trying to make their case. It should have went towards Ball State's way.
You can't let a freshman get back there when Lewis has so many great servers. You can't let a freshman get back there and get a point on you in such a close match.
A close, competitive match that is going to go down to the very end. As McIlvain setting up this little series here. And Hartley with a beautiful attack. Make it 13-11. Seems like we're saying a lot of the same names tonight, Zach.
It's really hard to stop the Cardinals when they get a good two good passes and let Jamion Hartley rip it.
At this time of the year, you got to have that solid rotation. And that's going to go towards Lewis. As number 19, Jay Petty gets involved. Like I mentioned, Zach, you know, and Coach Friend, Coach Walton contested to this. If you're still trying to rotate guys and find out a lineup you like at this point in the season, that's not a good sign.
Exactly.
You should have your rotation, your lineup down to a T, and both these teams do. And it really is, when you have two evenly matched teams, it's just great to see kind of this chess match go back and forth. And Yui Zhou just gets it in to make it only a 1-point advantage for Ball State. As Petty will go back to serve again. He's had a lot of success tonight. Not success there, though, as that makes it 15-13 Ball State here in set 3 with the match tied at 1 set apiece. We're going to take a short break. You're watching Ball State men's volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local, customized solutions for Indiana businesses since 1893. For business owners, that means when you're looking for the person that makes the final decision, at First Merchants, the answer is right in front of you. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Patty.
Be a fan. Ball State SportsLink's Emmy-nominated monthly magazine show tells the best stories in Ball State sports. Catch Be a Fan on Fox College Sports, Comcast Indiana, WIPB, and online at ballstatesports.com.
And the Cardinals with a 15-13 advantage here in set number 3. First Merchants Bank is proud to sponsor Ball State Athletics and Ball State SportsLink. First Merchants Bank has been putting customers first since 1893. The strength of big, the service of small. First Merchants Bank. Well, the Cardinals, Zach, after letting really set 2 slip away, they bounced back really nice here in set number 3.
Pretty much thanks to Jamion Hartley's 14 kills on the match. But you look at Lewis, BJ Bulldog. He's 5 for 5 on the offensive end, and he has 31 assists. He is pretty much doing whatever he wants. The 2 setters providing a great match for everyone here.
BJ Bulldog batting 1,000. As you see, Yui Zhou continuing to get involved in the match, and he's going to go back for his first serve tonight. And you mentioned BJ Bulldog just picking and choosing when he's going to do what he's going to do. Knows he doesn't got to go all out. Just pick and chooses when he wants to get involved. As Fitterer trying to get a point there.
That was all Graham McIlvain. I know I've said his name a lot tonight, but there's what Coach Walton was talking about with his back row defense and his ability, his newly found ability to dig the ball out. He is, in fact, up there with Shane Whitmer as the second leading digger on this Ball State team behind Tommy Rouse.
And you can definitely see the physical nature
again.
McElvain, as you see him right there. Rouse. Center of the
What
Hartley.
a great block. But still, Graham McElvain, his ability to dig the ball out and his assist, helping the Cardinals keep a 2-point lead.
And McElvain, like I said, showing that physicality. Not being afraid to get right involved in the middle of the match. Not touched by the Cardinals. Going to be a point towards the Cardinals. As Greg Hearsay goes out to wipe up the spot on the floor. And really, Zach, the team chemistry for Ball State has really been outstanding this past month. And despite the 5-match losing streak, really it's been good the whole year. I mean, when you're losing, obviously things are going to be hunky-dory. As the Cardinals almost got a block there. The double block. But hey, they get the double block right.
Kevin Owens.
And your buddy, Graham McElvain, getting involved again. Timeout. Dan Friend. And that's all by strategy, too. When do you call those timeouts to try to stop a run in the match? But Coach Friend, we'll see if he can pull something out of his cap here, as he was able to do it in set number 2.
Exactly.
To get his guys motivated.
But that last block by Kevin Owens, I know he's 6'9", but we found out this week he can get up to almost 12 feet with those long arms, and that lengthy jump of his just got up there along with Graham McElvain to put that block away to force the Lewis timeout. But here again, we see the Cardinals in control. Late in this third set, Lewis calling the timeout. See if they can keep this momentum going.
See the Ball State crowd really excited here in set number 3 as the Cardinals with a 19-15 lead. Trying to keep this thing going after letting set number 2 slip away. After the blocking being really slow, going halfway through the second set, really picked up from the Lewis side of things. But now the Cardinals as well getting involved with 6 total blocks. As Shane Whitmer trying to keep this run going for the Cardinals.
Again,
Kevin Owens. The Big Orange.
I told you,
Cathedral
Luke.
High School, a very talented high school in anything they do, from Fishers, Indiana.
Kevin Owens in his career at Cathedral, 156-8 in his 4-year career. Ball State gets the point there. Dan Friend wants to know what happened on that one for Lewis. Saying that's a bad call. But either way, the Cardinals get the point.
Well, for the fans asking for a technical foul, they're called yellow cards in volleyball.
And we found out that out the hard way at Ohio State. You went on that trip.
Yeah.
That's out.
As you can just see the enthusiasm by Lewis. Jay Petty really getting it going here. 21-16. Lewis as they get the point. McElvain calling out where the serve's gonna go. And that's long again. And Zach, if Lewis really cut down on their service errors and their errors tonight, we really could be talking about a totally different match. And at the same time, that's got to be something Coach Friend is telling his guys, hey, we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Besides that little run at the end of the second set, Ball State has controlled this match in all aspects.
Ryan Vandermeer coming in with the serve. And the Cardinals taking full advantage. Going up by 7. as the Cardinals really taking full control. Dan Frank calling a second timeout of set number 3. As we check out this replay, Vandermeer coming in, serving specialist for the Cardinals. Once again, it's good effort by both squads tonight, but you just saw Lewis trying to sneak it in, trying to paint that back corner. And they've been doing that all night, but they've just not been able to get it in. They've been close. They've been really close, but it's a game of inches, Zach.
Exactly on that point, besides a few missteps in the Ball State serving game, each server that comes in has really been able to hit his point on the court. That coach is telling them, hey, we want you to go after this spot on the court. And as you see there, Vandermeer able to do that, making Eric Butch dive for that dig, set up the long attack. And the Cardinals 2 points away again in this third set.
And this is huge for Ball State, especially when you consider the Cardinals, Zach, have won 1 set against Lewis in their last 9.
Yep.
Heading into the night. And it's just a totally different, just a confident standpoint for this Cardinal team. There's Bobby Walsh.
Out of the timeout there. Bobby Walsh with a huge kill.
And now we will see if Lewis can structure
rally again.
Another rally, which would be unbelievable again if Lewis could pull this one out. As Hartley, the heart attack killer. As the great Steve Shondell says, calls him the heart attack for a reason. And right now, just check out this kill, Zach. And drills. My goodness. Greg Petty.
That's gotta hurt. Look at him cringing. Getting hit by Jamion Hartley. I'd like to use a radar gun on those spikes. That is coming at him fast.
Man, our crew here on press row, Katie Hart could even get involved, was even cringing on that one. As McElvain. And this cue by the Flyers is going to give Ball State set number 3 and give them a 2-1 advantage in the match, and has an opportunity to close the door on the number 9 Lewis Flyers. And we will find out right after another short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
Motor Trend asks car enthusiasts who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge. Ford Focus ST with EcoBoost technology took on Honda and Volkswagen.
Engine sounds awesome.
The EcoBoost is a cool combination. It's got a lot of horsepower and really great gas mileage.
It's a definite win, especially with gas prices going up. I feel like I'm driving a race car.
The bucket racing seats really held you in place.
There is no comparison.
Focus ST, hands down.
Now get a Focus with 0% financing for 60 months plus 500 challenge cash, or lease one for only $169 a month.
Fox College Sports, CBS, ESPN. Impressive clients for college students. We write, direct, and produce our Emmy-nominated programs daily. We even designed our own virtual set. Ball State, education redefined.
Cardinals with a 2-1 advantage in their match against the number 9 Lewis Flyers. Robbins Apparel is the official clothing provider of our Ball State SportsLink staff and students. For your screen printing or embroidery needs, trust Robbins Apparel. Online at robbinsapparel.com. And let's go ahead, Zach, and take a look at how Ball State has gotten this 2-1 advantage in the match. Looking at these highlights, and once again, as we look at this beautiful kill, and Greg Petty just gets bolted in the face. I'm glad I don't know how that feels, Zach. That's just gotta hurt.
I think we're very fortunate over here not to be hit by a ball yet. Let me knock on wood right now.
Yeah, knock on wood. We ain't done yet.
We don't want to be hit by Jamion Hartley like that.
We ain't done yet. Jamion Hartley And here are the highlights again of set number 3. And then Jamion Hartley just continuing to just keep this Ball State team going, Zach Hughes.
The last time, as I mentioned earlier, the last time the Ball State Cardinals beat the Lewis Flyers, Jamion Hartley had 30 kills. He has 16 tonight already in 3 sets.
They are just keeping it going. And Grant McElvain, as you see right there, Zach, just the quarterback of this team. That's the essential piece of being the setter. The libero's an important part too. Tommy Rouse, very important player. But Grant McElvain just brings in all those other aspects. And Shane Whitmer, just a total team effort. And we mentioned just everybody getting involved. And we've seen it tonight, Zach. The offense going through, not just one, not just two, it's going through multiple guys.
Exactly, and on the defensive end, the digs are really spread out as well. Usually we see Tommy Rouse get the majority of them, but out of 30 digs, he only has 9. Greg Herseg with 7. So really good defensive approach from Joel Walton to this game. We'll see if the Cardinals can finish them off here as the Lewis Flyers and their record in 4-set matches. We're in the 4 sets, 3-3 this season. The Cardinals 6-2. We'll see if the Cardinals can finish them off here in set number 4.
And one of those matches, 4 setters, actually both of them that Ball State dropped, are right here at home against IPFW and Ohio State. But right now, they're on the other end of the spectrum. They're the team up 2-1 instead of being down 2-1. And Zach, just looking at the body language of this Ball State team, Herseg bouncing around, Hartley bouncing around. They definitely have a swagger. And just keeping it going. Let's see if they can close this one out. And so far off to a good start as the Flyers unable to handle that pass.
Bobby Walsh hasn't been able to find a groove. He sent that one long. But that's good news for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Walsh only hitting 200 on the night.
I mean, which is decent. But it seems like every time we're calling his name, I mean, he has a few good kills, but the Flyers sending a lot of them long.
Ball hit the antenna.
BJ Bulldog doing his best to keep him in this match. I mean, he has 35 assists.
That's why Bulldog, no doubt about it, has a great opportunity to be on all MIVA. But you know another guy deserves to be on all MIVA. Matt Lesky mentioned the only Cardinal to be on the preseason all MIVA team. I see Coach Friend taking the jacket off, trying to energize his team to get them back going, but a great start so far for Ball State, leading 3-0, trying to win their 3rd straight over a ranked opponent and win their 11th match in a row, which would be the 8th time in school history. And Herseg keeping it going, painting the line.
A great start for the Cardinals in this set, getting a 4-0 lead. You know, one thing, Luke, I really like about this Cardinal team is how smart they are. 6 players academic all MIVA last season. They've got around 12 players on academic scholarships because men's volleyball only gets 4.5 athletic scholarships to give out. So a smart group of guys.
A very intelligent group indeed, and that's going to be a net violation, toucher violation on Lewis. 5-0.
We'll see how long.
Is Coach Friend going to call that timeout?
Exactly. We'll see how long he lets it go.
Maybe he's going to play a little bit. He's awful close.
I think if Ball State gets the point right here, you're going to see a timeout really quick.
I got to tell you, he is really close to being on that floor. And there is the block. There's Sagaleski in the area. And there's the timeout call. What a start for the Cardinals in set number 4 as they jump out on the Flyers 6-0. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local personal solutions for Indiana customers since 1893. Personal solutions for people just like Carson's grandparents, who have banked with First Merchants since they can remember, and have brought him in to meet Brian and set up his very own savings account. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Brian.
I'm committed to solving threats to the environment. Studying in Brazil has taught me to work in diverse settings. I've developed real plans that enable people and the environment to thrive. Ball State, education redefined.
Ball State Sports Link is your social media leader for Ball State Sports. Join over 7,000 fans with Sports Link on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Ball State Sports Link and join the conversation. And you can actually see our Twitter handle in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, at BSU Sports Link.
Give us a follow.
Give us a follow.
Tweet at us. Let us know how it's going.
As Ball State fans got to be excited with the way it's going, and going to be just outside again. Coach Petty unable to find that consistency tonight. And it seems that's just been the issue with Lewis, just unable to string some runs together.
Coach
outside of set two, Zach.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you there, but Coach Friend just looks stumped over there on the bench. After that last Ball State point, he just kind of rubbed his fingers through his hair, and he was like,
what do you
I don't know.
Exactly. That's just kind of what he's saying.
I mean, he has to be a little frustrated. 24 attacking errors for Lewis to Ball State 7.
And that was just outside. Matt Lesky trying to paint that corner of the court. Because that would have been even more of a momentum swing for Ball State if that would have went in. All right, now 5-point advantage for the Cardinals, and that's going to be another service error for Lewis. And heading in after that timeout, 24 errors total.
Again, long. Lewis, long on everything.
Add that to the attack error total. And, you know, this has just got to be flabbergasting in a way to Coach Friend. Just trying to stifle this Ball State offense tonight, which has been on a roll. But don't forget about that defensive effort. Hartley unable to get it over the net.
Graham McElvain letting Jamion Hartley know. He goes, that's my fault. The set was a little behind him, which caused the error on Hartley's hit.
And Greg Petty unable to get it over, which adds to the error fest that we have this evening. And a 10-3 advantage for the Cardinals as they are blowing it wide open.
This has got to be fun for Ball State. I mean, really
Not
in control.
Fun, but it just continues. Oh, and Lesky. Don't know if he needed to really hit that ball. It looked like it was on its way out. Tough camera angle from our view. But, hey, you know what? I think you can take some of those with some of the night he's had, which has been a extremely solid night for the Cardinals. As there's one of the block attempts by the Flyers. And that's going to go towards Ball State's way again.
Coach Friend told him to attack Shane Whitmer right there. He digs out the serve and then gets the kill.
And Greg Petty can't get it over because there's a guy by the name of Kevin Owens standing in the way. Owens sends it right back. He was heading into the night with 99 total blocks on the season. Obviously over that total now. is going to be far from over as well.
Kevin Owens, 5 blocks tonight. 5.
Cardinals keeping it rolling as they are up by 9 now. And a service error. You could hear the crowd just such on a roll. And you just hear everyone go, oh, just so close to keeping this thing going. And at that moment, the 9-point advantage is the biggest so far tonight for Ball State. They've not gotten it to double figures. And how about that dunk? Graham McElvain continuing to set Ball State up for another win over a ranked foe. And Zach, fans at home, they're not tired of the
exactly.
results, maybe tired of us talking about it.
Should be number 3 if we can beat number 9 Lewis. Already swept number 8 Ohio State in this building and got a 3-1 win over number 10 Penn State in this 10-game win streak.
And that was a Penn State match that this Ball State team, remember Lewis played Ball State, unable to knock them off. And Ball State dominated that Penn State match. And the heart attack. Once again, just so hard to control Jamion Hartley's hits.
When you give either him or Herseg a nice set like Graham McElvain's doing tonight, I don't know if there's much you can do to stop him.
Actually, I don't think there's anything you can do other than hope and pray. Hope and pray that they can miss. As Vandermeer, a nice setup. As Greg Petty. How about Shane Whitmer going back to keep this thing alive? A Yui Zhou, who has been a big part of this Lewis team, has been relatively quiet tonight.
Yep.
And I think most of that reason is due to the strategy again of what Coach Walton and his staff want to do as Zhou goes off the floor. But he's been a big centerpiece to the success of Lewis. As Patrick Lilly coming back in to serve, came in earlier tonight, one of the serving specialists. Actually had a service error. He gets it over that side. But Herseg.
I know Greg Herseg didn't get that one in, but he's silently approaching a double-double tonight. 8 kills, 8 digs. Good to see from him.
And talking about those double-doubles, something this Ball State team has had a lot this year.
Oh.
And how about that? I almost got
a heart attack.
I almost got a dig. I was ready. But unfortunately, I did not get credit for that.
I saw you looking down, and I saw that ball fly over between you and Katie.
I was looking for a statistic, and right when I did, I looked up, and what a thriller.
Either way, Jamion Hartley with another kill on that one. 18 on the night.
Of course, I don't know. How do you take that statistic down, like for myself? Like, what would you give me on that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But we asked. I brought that up with Coach Friend. I said, you remember the last time you lost to Ball State? Jamion Hartley had 30 kills. He goes, hey, if he has another night like that, I think they're probably deserved to win. And they are.
Matt Lesky joining the block party. Cardinals opening it up. They're up by 8. Keeping it going in set number 4. It's looking promising. Promising. And I'm really excited. That kind of kills the momentum a little bit. Makes it 17-10. Ball State.
Andy Orff now in for the Lewis Flyers, the new digger replacing Eric Butch. Obviously, Coach Friend saw something he didn't like from Butch tonight.
That's exactly right. Butch, who coming into tonight, one of those other centerpieces we were talking about. Actually going to be just out on the Cardinals. But you know how we were talking about Zach, how if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, if it's broke, you got to fix it. And so far for Lewis, you know, Coach Fred has decided just to pull the plug and go to Andy Orr.
A nice block there. That was huge for the Lewis Flyers. Bobby Walsh getting his arms in the way. Jamion Hartley forcing a Ball State timeout as Lewis has kind of mounted a little bit of a run. Get within 5.
And remember, it was once a 9-point advantage for the Cardinals, with it being 17-12, which is just a unbelievable mark, as the Cardinals will try to keep this going, as they don't want to let this one slip away like they did in set number 2.
Dan Friend and Matt McCarthy right there trying to figure out something they need to do.
And you mentioned Matt McCarthy, who, by the way, former Ball State Cardinal.
Talked about that coaching tree already.
And there's that coaching tree continued. And, you know, Kevin Owens also wants to be a coach when he leaves here. That's one of his aspirations. Greg Herseg liked to play European ball, also in the coaching as well, trainer at the YMCA here in Muncie. But you hear all those stories, Zach, and it just shows you that chemistry we're talking about, and just really how good guys they really are.
Yeah, exactly. A great tradition here at Ball State of coaches. One of the best, if not the best, coaches in the nation come from Ball State.
And Greg Petty going to try to get something going here for Ball State. There's Bulldog. Shane Whitmer got a hand on it, almost got a point. How about Tommy Rouse? Hartley just gets it in.
That play, all thank you to the great dig by libero Tommy Rouse. And he's subbed out now for Kevin Owens. And Dan Wickman, we haven't called his name much tonight. He's coming in again to serve.
The candle in the wind, Dan Wickman.
I think he has 2 serving errors on the night. He's come in twice to serve. We'll see if he can get something going here.
And he's been a player, when he's in the game, he averages 6.6 assists per set, which is
nice dig there by Wickman.
One of the best. Hartley couldn't get anything there. But there's Bulldog setting up for Petty. But a great job by McIlvain. Lewis almost reached over. There's Orff. Powell back at him. Kevin Owens. Jeff Powell tried to sneak it by, but you really got to get high, because you're not going to sneak it past number 16 in the Cardinal in white.
Great defense by the Cardinals there. Exclamation point with the block.
19-12. Now there's Jay Petty.
A little bit of bad communication there. Greg Herseg dove for it. Graham McIlvain got his hand on it, but still a 6-point lead. 6 points from the match.
Jay Petty, one of the senior leaders on this team, trying to keep his unit in this thing. But Jamion Hartley trying to keep his unit ahead and wrap this thing up. 2013, Ball State, 7-point advantage.
Graham McIlvain keeps going back to Jamion Hartley, and even Lewis right there was there to block it, but Hartley just put it away again. 20 blocks on the night. And another kill for the Cardinals.
KO, Kevin Owens. That's all you got to say tonight. A terrific young man. Timeout. Dan Friend kind of sensing this set and the match getting away from him.
What do you really say if you're Dan Friend? I mean, you know the ball is going to Jamion Hartley. He has 41 attacks. And the next closest is Greg Herseg with 17. Gray McElvain just keeps setting it to Jamion Hartley, and he's putting it away.
And Jamion Hartley, like Zach mentioned, a lot of attention. And he's already passed his season high total. His season high on the year had 18 kills. He surpassed that tonight as he has 20. The students of Ball State Sports Link would like to thank the staff of WIPB TV in Muncie. Thanks to everyone at WIPB, including Bill Bryant, Rob Foltz, Keith Huffman, and our engineers in charge, Eugene Smith and Rick Martin. Always great seeing Gene come out here wishing us good luck tonight.
He knows we're rookies. We need all the luck we can get.
Oh, trust me. We definitely need all the luck we can get.
Jamion Hartley put the ball in his hands. He's on fire tonight.
We definitely want to be able to go on without them.
Great dig by Whitmer. Keeping Ball State at least alive for another rally.
McElvain free-balled it over.
Net violation.
And a point.
And the crowd can sense Ball State 3 points away from game, set, and match over the number 9 team in the country, the Lewis Flyers.
You're sounding excited, Zach Hughes.
I am excited.
Why not? Jay Petty again. Just trying to keep his team in the ball game.
He's doing his best. He's got 11
best.
kills, but he's only hitting a 103. 7 airs.
BJ Bulldog, the only Flyer besides Yui Joe hitting over 300. Which is usually that
6 attempts.
Which is usually that marquee mark you want to hit. Herseg rockets it early. Great Petty saved it. They're not going to be good enough. Makes it point 23. 2 points away. And now Yui Joe was down. He hit his head, grabbing the top of his head. I think he's okay, going to stay in the match. They're asking him if he wants to come out. He's saying no, keep me in. And he's had a rough night, Zach. Only have had 15 total attacks.
Yeah.
They're almost trying to get it again. That's happened a couple times tonight. Kevin Owens wanting to put the exclamation point on this match. And they have the chance to do it right here. 24-14.
The largest lead of the whole entire match. 10 points out of that timeout.
And they got
on
a chance.
Fire. Ooh, the crowd can feel it.
Whoa, they can definitely feel it. Jay Petty excited to say the least. 24-15. I was going to say Cardinals up by 10, try to win by 11. Looking to win their 11th match in a row. Petty. Kevin Owens ends it. The Big Orange leads the Cardinals to the Big W as Ball State knocks off the number 9 Lewis Flyers 25-15. 3 sets to 1, and here's how it ended. What a play by the Cardinals as Kevin Owens, the block, the kill, I should say, for the win. And for the first time this season, Jamion Hartley has had 20-plus kills, second time in his career.
Both against Lewis.
What a win for the Cardinals, and we got post-game reaction coming up right after this short break. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on Ball State Sports Link TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local, customized solutions for Indiana businesses since 1893. For business owners, that means when you're looking for the person that makes the final decision, at First Merchants, the answer is right in front of you. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Greg.
Motor Trend asked car enthusiasts who aren't driving a Ford to take the EcoBoost Challenge. Ford Focus ST with EcoBoost technology took on Honda and Volkswagen.
Engine sounds awesome.
The EcoBoost is a cool combination. It's got a lot of horsepower and really great gas mileage.
It's a definite win, especially with gas prices going up. I feel like I'm driving a race car.
The bucket racing seats really held you in place.
There's no comparison.
Focus ST, hands down.
Now get a Focus with 0% financing for 60 months plus 500 challenge cash, or lease one for only $169 a month.
I've always loved writing songs. Now we've adapted a novel into a full musical, collaborating with the novelist, my student team, and Broadway mentors. It's thrilling to hear my lyrics and score on center stage. Ball State, education redefined.
Welcome back to Johnny Worthen Arena as the Cardinals get a big win over the 9th-ranked Lewis Flyers as they win tonight. The match 3-1. Won the first set 25-18. Second set, Lewis was able to get the edge 26-24. Third set went in the favor of Ball State 25-18. Then in set number 4, the Cardinals were able to get a big lead and end up winning the fourth set and eventually the match 25-15 in that fourth and final set. And let's take a look at this replay again, Zach, as we look at tonight's match. Unbelievable night for the Cardinals. As you can see, some fans chatting there, getting ready. And as we're back here, and we are now lucky to be joined by our player of the match, the heart attack, as they call him, the great Jamion Hartley. Jamion, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Congratulations. What a big win for you guys tonight, 11 in a row. What does this mean to be able to knock off a team that really dominated you guys back in February?
It just sends a message out to our conference, that we're ready. We've been working really hard, and we're just a force to be reckoned with, for sure.
Jamion, what a night for you personally.
Thank you.
20 kills, the second time in your career you've had over 20 kills. Obviously, both came against Lewis. How did you feel tonight?
I was just really excited to play. I've been anxious all week, and I was just ready. I know the guys were ready too, so I knew I just had to go out there and play my heart out, and we did that.
And you look at that second set, Jamion, it really was in your guys' control.
Right.
You were up 24-20, had a chance to win it. Lewis comes all the way back. But you guys were able to respond and really dominate that 3 and 4 set. Just talk about being able to come back and dominate a match that kind of got.
I think we let up off the pedal a little bit in that second set, and I mean, maybe we needed to lose that, just to make sure that we're playing Lewis. They're ranked 9th in the country, so we just got to keep going. And I'm glad we lost that second. I mean, I'm not glad we lost it, but I think it was a good thing to know that when we do go up against Lewis again or Loyola or any team in our conference, that they're good teams, so we can't let up off the pedal at all. We just got to keep going.
Well, you mentioned Loyola. You have the number 12 ranked Loyola coming in here on Saturday night, 2 nights away.
Right.
What are you looking to do in that match?
Hopefully the same thing tonight. Hopefully we win. We have a game plan in mind, so we just got to go out and execute like we did tonight.
Well, you know what? Having 20-plus kills, that's a pretty good way. That's a pretty good way to come back out against Loyola. When you look at Loyola, they're a very talented team, have many different serving styles.
They are.
For you, heading into Saturday, I should say, how do you prep for yourself after a tough, grueling match like tonight?
Just got to rest up. I mean, and just try and do the same thing I did tonight. Again, like I said, we have a game plan, so just got to go out and execute. They're a good serving team. They're a good passing team, and we know that. So, we just got to follow the game plan a little bit. Coaches, they're telling us what to do, so we just have to follow them.
Well, Jamion, I think that's all we got for you today.
Thank you. Sorry I'm so sweaty.
No, you're all right. You played your hardest out there.
You know what? I got to tell you, it was actually one kill. You almost got me here on press row.
Really?
Yeah, you almost got me. You almost got me. But hey, Jamion, congratulations. Terrific match tonight, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That was Jamion Hartley. The heart attack does a great job, had a great night again. Second time in his career he goes over 20-plus kills. We'll be back as we talk to the head coach of the Ball State Cardinals, Joel Walton. You're watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.
These days, staying with what you know, people you trust, means staying local. First Merchants is an Indiana bank, providing local personal solutions for Indiana customers since 1893. Personal solutions for people just like Ethan's grandparents, who have banked with First Merchants since they can remember, and have brought him in to meet Stacy and set up his very own savings account. First Merchants, the strength of big, the service of Stacy.
Want all of your favorite Ball State SportsLink stories on the go? Download the new SportsLink iPad app featuring award-winning videos, in-depth written pieces, photo galleries from sports, and the monthly Top 5 plays. Download it now in the App Store. Just search SportsLink.
The Ball State Cardinals improved to 10-2 at home and win their 11th match in a row for the 8th time in school history. And to talk about that, we bring in head coach Joel Walton. Coach, congratulations. We've been talking to you all week, watching your team all week. You said this was going to be a measuring stick game for your guys. What you learned from the night?
Well, other than that moment in Game 2 that we couldn't score 1 point, I think our guys sent a pretty clear message that they're ready to compete with anybody in our conference this season, taking out Lewis, currently the #1 team in the standings. And I was pleased with our team's effort tonight. Our offense continued to click, and we did a good job stifling Lewis to a 144 hitting percentage. And I think our defense, Coach Furnish had him in the right places, and we made a lot of nice plays.
Coach, we did talk about that defense yesterday when we met with you. You talked to us about the back row defense and your ability to pass the ball off the serve and off the attacks by Lewis. Talk about how your team did tonight, holding Lewis, as you said, to a 144 hitting percentage.
Well, we served 4 aces on only 13 misses. That was one of the real frustrations for us in Game 2 because we had a good lead, and instead of expanding on the lead, we got into a situation where we missed about 4 out of 5 serves right in the middle of that game, and Lewis didn't close the gap, but we just gave away easy opportunities to score points. Overall, on the night, Game 1, Game 3, Game 4, I think our serving pressure on them was pretty extensive to the point that Jeff Powell got subbed out of the game, and he's one of their most potent arms, but he's also one of their most vulnerable passers. And then after Powell got taken out, we did a nice job finding Butch, got Butch taken out. Then we went after Greg Petty. So, we just kept kind of ticking down the line and finding some guys that we could serve balls at. And our servers are doing a good job placing the ball in hard-to-pass areas.
And the last time you played Lewis, they won the blocking battle 15-5. Tonight, you guys dominated the blocking battle, which ultimately I'm sure was a big difference in this game tonight.
It was. And, again, credit to our guys for listening to the scouting report, knowing what shots they should be taking against players. And then as the match went on, figuring out the situations where the ball was going to go to certain places. We just got into a good feel for what Lewis was going to do, and we really saw that kind of take over in Game 4 where we jumped out to some big point-scoring runs and a huge lead.
Well, Coach, go ahead.
You have a question?
No, go ahead.
Man, you're going to budge in there. But, Coach, I was going to say, tonight went so well. How about we do this again Saturday night?
Guys, I think that's the plan. And I can tell you right now, I honestly think that Loyola's playing better at this point in the year than Lewis is. I think that's going to be a very difficult match for our team. And, again, all of the things that we've talked about, serving and passing, are going to be very important. Our ability to keep our offense on track. Loyola is siding out at a really high percentage. I mean, their offense is just clicking, and when they pass the ball to the net, if you allow them to do that, they run a very quick tempo to their left side attackers. So it's going to be different than all of the high balls that we saw Lewis throwing up tonight.
Well, Coach Walton, congratulations on the win. And
thanks, guys.
We will see you Saturday evening.
Go Ball State.
Yes, no doubt about it. Once again, the Ball State Cardinals victorious tonight. Zach, just your final thoughts on the match tonight.
Well, we talked to Jamion Hartley. I mean, he had 20 kills on 41 attacks, which is why he was the player to watch tonight. His second time over 20 kills, which is outstanding. He served a .933 percentage as well. The serving, Ball State as a whole served 867%. Ball State really controlled the whole game. It was good to see from the Cardinals. We'll do it again here in Worthing Saturday night. against the number 13 Loyola team.
And now the Cardinals have a chance to do something they haven't done since 1966, and that is win 12 matches in a row. And they will have to do it against another ranked foe in the Loyola Ramblers. So our next TV broadcast will be this Saturday night. Me and Zach Hughes again, as the Cardinals will play the Ramblers right here. Same place, same time. Then don't forget about our next radio broadcast, which will be this Saturday, as softball, Torrey Fox will be out at Ohio as the Cardinals look to keep it going well with softball, as they will try to keep their winning streak alive. Well, that's going to do it tonight. A remarkable match, a remarkable win for the Ball State Cardinals as they move on and improve to 19-5, 8-5 on the year in the MIVA Conference. It was a great night and a big night for the Ball State Cardinals. There's Eugene Smith and Rick Martin. For Zach Hughes, I'm Luke Martin. You've been watching Ball State Men's Volleyball on SportsLink TV.